overall, man, yeah, como se dice, I think that's all I have for this podcast. Do you have anything else you wanted to share? Anything to add? Anything insightful?
Well, it's not really insightful,
Yeah,
but
you get
one
it.
thing I can talk about is I watched Ted season 1 on
Ooh.
Peacock, and honestly, it was pretty good. Pretty funny show.
Dude, Squeedo is a massive fanboy of Ted's 1 and 2, and frankly, I love Ted's 1 and 2 as well. They're funny as
Yeah,
shit, man. I can't get enough of them.
there's a lot of jokes in this prequel that are honestly better than the ones in the movies. Like,
Really?
I don't know what it is. Like, I feel like Seth MacFarlane, when writing this show, he was just like, he turned his offensive meter all the way up to 11 because he was like, I don't give a fuck about anyone's feelings watching this show. I'm just gonna make whatever joke I find funny. In the first fucking 10 minutes, Ted is talking about how he's a midget and he's allowed to use that word because he's one of them.
Fair, fair. No, no,
And then
no.
there,
Recite the. I'm sorry, I gotta cut you off. Recite that one
yeah.
where it's talking about they got him. Recite that for me.
Oh yeah, so this is also in the first episode. So Ted has to go to school with John, and
Yeah.
so they're sitting outside of like the front of his high school, and he's like, "How weird is it being the only white guy in your school?" And he's just like, "Well, we're in the middle of Boston, so we actually had an Indian kid last year." And Ted gets excited. He's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, but they got him.
They got
What do you mean they got him? I like them too."
I liked it
Well, what
too.
do you mean they got him?
It's just so ridiculous, man. I love it. What else? What else?
There's he there's a lot of shit of just like Ted drinking and smoking weed. The thing is, Ted in the show technically is like 8 years old,
Right, right, right.
but he's a teddy bear, so it doesn't really matter.
Exactly. It doesn't have lungs.
So, yeah, and he's essentially the same character from the movies. Like, they did not change anything about Ted
Of
whatsoever.
course.
The only thing about John is that he's younger. And
Mhm.
honestly, the actor, I know he's not exactly doing an impression, but he does a spot on Mark Wahlberg. Like, his voice.
Yeah,
He
because
sounds exactly like him.
whoever that fucking Mark Wahlberg was portraying, it was simply Mark Wahlberg with an accent. That's all it was. That's all
Yeah,
it
and this
was.
kid is his voice just screams Mark Wahlberg
I
with
like
a
that.
Boston accent. Like, it's like literally like the perfect. The only character that I didn't like too much was Blair, and she's John's older cousin who lives with the family. And so the only reason I didn't like that character is because she's one of those characters that she has to put her politics into the show
Mm.
and her beliefs and everything. And honestly, it kind of took me out at points. Not because I disagree with her point of view, but the fact that the show took place in the '90s, and I felt
Mhm.
like a lot of her vision fit more within modern day.
Mhm.
And so it kind of took me out whenever she would call someone out for for making an offensive remark or something, like Ted.
That's fair.
And yeah, and so like that's the only thing that like kind of took me out, but even then the actress did a great job, and
Mhm.
even she had like her funny moments too. There's just a lot of there's a lot of funny elements to that show, and I think Seth MacFarlane was at the top of his game when he was making it, because like even just the direction of it, all the characters have their episodes. It's a funny ass show.
Good.
Like, I want another season or a Ted 3, like a movie.
Ted 3 would be sick. That would be a fucking
Ted
movie
3
and a
would
half.
be sick.
Oh boy. No, dude, como se dice? I want to touch on something real quick. The actor that plays Blair, I just want to point something out. At the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, it doesn't matter what the character did. An actor should never be blamed
Oh,
for what their
yeah,
character
no,
believes or
she
their
did great.
character achieved. I just want to point that out real quick. I'm not saying you did. I'm saying that there are a
Yeah.
lot of people in this world that want to attack an actor for something that they portrayed, and it's ridiculous. Okay, they're doing their
Mm-hmm.
job. They're getting paid. They're doing shit that people have written for them. Perfect example is Rose in Star Wars. The amount of fucking hate mail and the death threats and all this shit that she was getting for just playing a fucking character that she was so fucking excited to play because it's fucking Star Wars. You know, it's ridiculous. You can hate the
God,
character, you can
yeah,
hate the writers, but you cannot hate the actress. Because she didn't
yeah,
play her role horribly. She simply played the role. That's all it was.
yeah.
You know? So people are idiots for doing shit like that, and I just want to add, como se dice, they did that for that one show, Kenobi. Now people hated her for other reasons as well, but there was a few fanatics in there, and it's the same thing for them, you know. It's like
Oh, are you
never.
talking about? Is she one of the villains?
Yeah, one of the villages. She was the black lady. I
Okay,
forget her name.
I hadn't seen all of Kenobi yet. So.
All right. Well, I won't. Nothing I have to say has anything to do with the plot, but she was a
Yeah,
villain.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And
Yeah.
people hated, como se dice, there were some fanatics that hated her for her race. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this shouldn't be there. And there was the overt racism in her DMs. And that's ridiculous. It's stupid. That being said, there was a lot of fair criticism about that character that was completely overshadowed by the fanatics, okay? That's ridiculous. And then Disney focused on the fanatics rather than the actual criticism. But there were indeed fanatics, and those fanatics are completely wrong. An actor should never be blamed for that kind of shit. You know what I mean? It's like it was a narrative choice. Why am I getting death threats in my DMs? Fuck off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. People who do that shit, I know that they're bottom of the barrel, fucking low IQ idiots. Because they don't know how production works in any way. You know what I mean? It's absolutely disgusting, in my opinion.
Yeah. And then, I mean, even like, going back to the character of Blair, like, her, just because a character, has, a specific viewpoint on politics, does not mean that is what the whole show is about.
That too. That too.
It does not take away from the show at all. It doesn't take away from the performances, doesn't take away from the director or even the writers themselves. It is just a part of the show, and it is a part of that character. That's the point. Leave it to the character.
Yeah.
What's your example?
Okay, my example is pretty simple. I always talk about this. You already know what I'm going to say. Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Ellie. Oh my God, she's gay. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Kirkman is pushing down a gay agenda down our throats. Bro, they made out once. That was it. That's all. It was a 5-minute scene to establish romance. And then all of a sudden, the whole game is a gay agenda. Even the transgenderism, brother. They thought it was transgenderism. They were shoving a transgender agenda down our throats just because Abby had muscles.
Yeah.
That's all. Are you kidding me? That's all it was, and that's all I was hearing in the lead up and after The Last of Us came out. All the critics were, not all the critics, obviously not, but there were a lot of bad critics that were being absolutely crazy, like, oh, they're shoving down this agenda. They're talking about Abby, como se dice, she's transgender, and I don't really want to play as that character, bro. Abby, if you played the game and you actually paid attention, you'd know that Abby's a woman. Abby went to the gym every fucking day for 7 years or however long, and she got swole because of that. God forbid a woman gets some fucking muscles. You know what I mean? I guess women bodybuilders don't exist. You know what I mean? They're all transgender, I guess. It's ridiculous.
Look at Rhea Ripley, bro.
Exactly.
She's buff as hell.
She's a woman, though. That's the thing. She's a woman. And then you look at and then you look at the gay agenda thing. It's like, oh my God, Ellie's gay. Ellie likes girls. Oh, they're pushing just agenda down her throat. Who cares? She was gay for 5 minutes, and then it almost never resurged again. Just every now and again when they talked about the relationship, like at the end, that's it. It was maybe a total of like 30 to 40 minutes of your time. It was worried about a gay relationship. That's it. These are normal people, all right? They were not forcing a gay agenda down your throat. Just how, and this is the worst fucking thing for me. This is so ridiculous. Remember the outcry around Starfield about how you can choose your pronouns? That was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever fucking seen. Brother, it is legit a a character creation menu. It is legit a 2-second thing, and then you never see or hear from it again. People lost their fucking minds. Like
people really make... I've noticed, especially when it comes to criticism, a lot of people will take one thing they don't like and fucking run with it, and then that is their whole criticism for why this one thing is bad. It's like, you have to look at the bigger picture. You gotta look at everything. And just because you disagree with one thing, or you think that this one thing shouldn't be there, and it's a small thing, that doesn't make the rest of the game bad. Starfield is just boring as fuck.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't care if
So
I can
just
choose my
say
pronouns
that.
or not. It's just a boring ass game.
It's boring. So that's your problem, okay? Don't make the fucking LGBT thing the head of the issue because it's not. It's
really
less than 1% of the issue. Yet you still make it the thumbnail. You still make it the fucking title. All this stuff, and that creates outrage. It's ridiculous. It's dumb.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Honestly,
you have the right to say whatever the fuck you want, but I also have the right to say you're a fucking idiot. So there you go. That's it.
Politics are always a tricky thing when it comes
Always.
to media, because
Easy.
people are always going to assume that if a writer wants to push some kind of agenda, maybe that's the message of the story they're telling. Maybe that's the point of this character. And just because you disagree with it does not make this product bad.
It doesn't make it bad. It's just a different perspective, and it's always engaging to see other perspectives, as long as they're grounded in some sort of reality. What I mean by that is that the argument actually has some sort of value to it, and it has some sort of structure to it. Like, you know what's a good antithesis of an argument without with structure? A good antithesis: flat Earth. Nothing to stand on. Whatsoever. Nothing to stand on. All right, when I see shit like that, I'm like, okay, ridiculous, get it out of my face. It's easily pushed aside. But when you get actual opinions that make sense, and like, you know what, you're right in some ways, I may disagree with you, but I see where you're coming from, then that's 100% okay to view. And even if it may not be for you, you can't say it's bad. You know what I mean? It's just it's ridiculous. I hate seeing that shit, you know?
Bro, flat earthers are not going to listen now.
Damn. Yo, all two of you. My bad. Yeah. Me personally. I didn't mean it, you know? Fucking yeah, it's ridiculous. But at the end of the day, you can't stop people from getting mad. You can't stop people from getting outraged. And the people that are listening right now already agree with the sentiment. At the end of the day, most of this shit happens on Twitter. And we all know Twitter people don't leave Twitter. It is what it is. Yeah. Twitter fanatics, rather, don't live Twitter. Jesus.
Yeah.
Maybe fucking 4chan. That's
And going back to Ted, my only criticism with Blair is that she feels like a modern day character in the 90s, and it took me out a little bit. That's it.
That's fair. You see, that's it. That's all he said. All right, he's not gonna make a 15-minute fucking video about her. Oh, she pushed his politics, and I don't like that. No, he didn't say that.
No, I actually really liked Blair as a character, especially her relationship with Ted. It was really fun. And then the actress is great. Like the actress, I recognized her immediately. She's from The Punisher season 2, and I got really excited because I didn't know she was in the show.
I haven't seen that.
So I was like, finally, I don't think I've seen her in anything else other than Punisher, but I liked her in The Punisher. So the fact that she was in Ted made me excited, and I wanted to see what she would do.
Good. Let's say I think we got to see Ted eventually. It's like one of the only things that Peacock has that I actually want to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you like the Ted movies, you're gonna like the show.
It's on the list, along with everything else. Yeah.